profiles? What do you need to see from him to get more opportunity?
He just needs to grow up. Needs to grow up. It's just that simple. He needs to be a team player and just grow up. He's a very good player. Obviously, he's very talented, and we've seen that. But just need him to stay out of Spiller's doghouse. That's really it.
Dabo, you talked after last week about looked like you guys made a more concerted effort to get the run game going, get some rhythm there. Was that part of the offensive game plan? What did you think about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we stunk last week, and we didn't do a good job of hanging in. And again, we were either behind the field position, behind the change. It was just a weird kind of day, but we did a poor job of at least working a little harder to be effective there. And so definitely, we needed to get those guys going because it was really hard to evaluate them, with what happened last week. But I was super impressed with Kobe. And then you see Shipley, man, that guy runs, he is so violent and explosive and just relentless for every inch. And you see the same thing in Kobe. So, held Maffa today. Maffa's right there with those guys, to be honest with you. But we've got some depth there, obviously, with Lyn-J and then Dukes, and Dukes is just a guy that, Dukes could be, Dukes is really gifted, but he's just a guy that, he's got to earn trust. There's no other way to say it. He's very, very talented, but, he's got to become a trustworthy guy in all areas. But we got some depth, and so that's why we held Maffa, because, we just kind of want to see how it plays out, and because we get 4 games with him, and we want to be able to hold him, and because you never know what's going to happen and where we want to be able to, because he's a sledgehammer, man. He's as good as anybody we have. But again, with the depth, if we can hold him, we may. But we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how it goes. So just didn't want to put him in there today and kind of waste one of his 4, so to speak.
You talk about sticking with the run game. We talk about players, how important it is for them to get their confidence back after a tough game. Does that hold true for play callers? Is it important for a guy like Tony Elliott to have such a good game plan and play calling today so effectively and such balance on offense?
Yeah, and listen, I think certainly for coaches, everybody's getting into the rhythm of the season and things like that. But man, Tony's been doing this since 2014. He's been pretty good. It's kind of laughable when you get into some of the stuff. You lose a game, and next thing you know, you've forgotten football. But it comes with the territory. But Tony's outstanding, and he called a lot of great plays last week that we didn't execute. And so, when we execute the calls that are made, then we can complain about the play calling, But when you call plays and everything's there and we're not executing what's called, well, it's hard to really, be disappointed or mad about the play calling. Certainly there's some things you could have done a little better. You always evaluate that as a coach, but we had a lot of good calls a bunch of good calls that we didn't execute. Things that are there, So in a game like that, man, it's razor thin. But certainly, I thought he was outstanding and has been for a long, long, long time. So he's excited again that we were able to have the type of balance and play as many guys and all that stuff. But we'll watch the tape and we'll still see some areas that we need to keep improving.
Yeah, but how do you think Tyson looked out there?
Great. I was proud of him. Haiti had the overthrow. I'd rather see him underthrow it than overthrow it with the type of guys we got. Because most of the time our guys are going to be able to make the play on the ball. And their kid, what a play. That kid's a baller. At number 14, he's a player of the year type guy. He caught the back of the ball, I think. But he was excellent. He was sharp and just, decisive, and wish one to Will Brown. Even if Will had called it, he should have called it, but he probably would have been a little short of the first down. So he kind of let that one die on him. But decision making and all that stuff, and just his confidence. I mean, I'm super excited. And the same thing, Hunter went in. Hunter's a guy that can really execute as well. So just good to get him in there. Held Billy Wiles as well, kind of the same thing as Maffa. Really, just didn't want, maybe get him in there somewhere later on in the season, but he's going to be a really good player too. So, but I'm proud of Pumachan, man. It's exciting. I mean, he and Ross. Those are two amazing stories. Those two guys.
Coach, you had 56 rushing yards in the opening drive. Was there more of an emphasis on getting the rushing attack going early on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we definitely wanted to be committed to that. And again, a lot of that's decision-making on the quarterback. Sometimes it's called run. Sometimes it's there's other things built into that. But absolutely, that was something that we needed to do. And get the confidence going. I wanted to see 20 and 1, get a lot of touches and lather them up, and I wanted to challenge our offensive line to get better, fundamentally and things like that. And again, we're obviously a better football team than them. We're supposed to play well. We're supposed to win this game, but I just want to see us play well and execute and play better fundamentally. And I think that's what I'm going to see when I see the tape. But it was definitely an emphasis.
That wasn't like both of the Wills today. You had a good day, specifically Shipley. This past week you talked about taking advantage of opportunities. What are your thoughts on just his performance and kind of what he was able to do offensively?
Will Shipley? He's great. I mean, he didn't get a whole lot of opportunity last week. But he's, I love having him back there at kick return. I mean, he's sooner or later he's going to bust one. And I love just his passion for the game. His toughness. I mean, he is relentless. He runs the ball every time he gets it. He runs the ball, like his life depends on it. I mean, that's just how he plays the game. And as the game continues to slow down for him and he gets more and more experience, I mean, he's going to be a great one, no doubt about it.
Will Taylor, do you remember the first time he really came on your radar? Was it that camp, or were you guys already tracking him?
No, I didn't know who he was until he came to camp. I had no idea who he was. And I think he was like 10th grade maybe, and summer after 10th grade, I think, going into his junior year. And, I think Jeff he was a good athlete, and everybody knew about him from that standpoint. And Jeff was like, hey, this is a kid we might can get to walk on here, or this and that. And I was like, well, let me check him out at wideout. And he had never played wideout. Just threw him in there. I mean, he went like 2 routes, and I was like, holy cow, this guy is a rocket. And natural hands, And so that's kind of how so then we just kind of let it go, and he's kind of baseball. Baseball, I waited till late to offer him because I didn't really want him to be on anybody's radar. And so it worked out, and really happy for the Tigers. I mean, he's going to be he really doesn't know how to play receiver yet, and so we're not asking him to, we're really training him right now for what we need, but obviously in the return game stuff, but sooner or later he'll move full time, and once he gets the nuances of the position and really understands the inner workings of things, and I think we'll be able to use him in different ways as the season goes, but he's going to be a great player.
Just a quick follow-up. So you knew all along you were going to offer him. You just
didn't
want anyone to know.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I just held out as long as I possibly could. And then Bubba committed. And so then I told Bubba, I said, now here's my plan. And, because he had, he was kind of the quarterback we were going after was Bubba. And I said, now here's what I'm going to do with this other kid. He's a baseball guy like you. And he knew of him. They had been in a couple of things. I was like, no, listen, I'm going to offer him, but I'm going to train him up as quarterback for a year, but here's what we're going to do. And so everybody was on the same page, what we were trying to do.
How close was Will to going to the MLB draft? And just what was that?
You'll have to ask him. I would say probably pretty close. I think he walked away from a lot of money. The draft's different. The only reason he didn't get drafted in the first round is because, he decided not to get drafted in the first round. That's kind of how baseball works. You have to declare up front like what you're going to do, and I just think that for him, and what it was going to take for him to walk away from his dream of coming to Clemson and playing baseball and football, and it just a huge decision, unbelievable decision. So you'll have to ask him that on how close it was.
Hey, Dabo. Tony said a couple of the missed throws I think that DJ had maybe were just a result of him throwing on the run. Is that just carrying over the proper fundamentals?
The one in the end zone, I thought that was more on Ross, to be honest with you. I thought Ross, he kind of stopped and jumped a little early, and I think DJ thought he kind of mistimed it. But I thought that was a good throw. I mean, the one bad throw was the screen. That's like the easiest throw ever. And he just I think kind of fell back off of it a little bit. And usually when you do that, the ball gets high. And Joe tips it and they get the pick. But I thought he made some really good throws. Nothing really bad at all. I mean, I thought he was on point, all day. He missed a couple here or there, but very, very solid day. Yeah, we held him. He wasn't. He had a little flare up with his allergies. He's got bad allergies. Always has. And obviously, he's had asthma since high school, and he's been great. But I think it was Thursday, I believe he just all of a sudden had some type of allergic reaction or something. So he was better today, but we held him. So hopefully he'll be good to go Monday.
Dabo, what are the things you like about what you guys are doing offensively heading into ACC play, and where do you feel like you guys still maybe need to improve in some areas?
Well, I mean, we can't be turning the ball over. We got to clean up some stuff. I do like the fact that we got to play a lot of guys today. I think that's really, really good, because the longer guys sit on ice, it's just the moment gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So the fact that we got to get a lot of guys in the game, and you got to see Bo Collins was awesome, and just getting some touches. I think it was really, really key. So all those guys, a Joe, him getting some opportunities. And so just getting guys in the rhythm a little bit of the game and the season, I think is very important today. So that was something we needed to do, because that's going to really carry over for us. But just continuing to clean up the mistakes and play with the precision and details that it's going to take for us to execute against really, really good opponents. I think that we did what we needed to do today. I'd like to have seen us got the ball down the field a couple more times, but they were kind of just playing off and playing on top, and so we did what we needed to do.
Anything else from anybody in person before we go to Zoom? Do we have anything from anybody on Zoom?
Zoom's going to sleep.
That we will conclude. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.